Welcome, Filth Weaver Collective. Welcome to your reading today, and I'm just feeling called to share a specific message around your fate and your fate being in your hands. I'm seeing like this weaving, like a sculpture of your life and of your being. It's being woven through your hands, through your dreams, through your intention, through the deepest and most tender part of your soul. That's operating out of integrity. And I feel like it can be a journey to hear that voice within and to find yourself, to find your core, core portal way into your expanded sense of self, which is always there. It's always there, ever permeating. So, yeah, that's what I'm sensing into with this collective and where you are in your journeys. And we can pull some cards. I want to invoke the divine love, source creator, above and below, higher selves, all 13 directions of the multiverse, of wonder, of the miracle of existence. Divine emerging spiral oneness, the spirits of these lands, the Honono Eno, Sisistas, Nuchu. If there are earth spirits in your worlds that have messages for us, we welcome you to be present. We acknowledge the histories of these lands, as these lands are the histories, the herstories, the stories. The lands contain the stories and are the stories. And whose structures and sculptures and tracks are the threads themselves of these stories being woven. And part of this message is the fates being woven, and the identities being woven, and like the material dance that source moves through like waves. Circling, cycling, and animating. I want to call on Creator and the Giver of Life that you will all be in this, come into this spell, into this space, into these spells, into these divinations, and help guide us through this. If there are any beings in this space that are not for our most auspiciousness of the Filth Weaver Collective, may they be escorted out towards their most auspiciousness. And may this space be sealed with the love that is present. Okay, so I'm feeling called to the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck by Francine Hart. What is it about these fates being in our hands and our weavings? Pentagon, number 28. So this is a card of protection, protecting yourself from a real or perceived threat. And this card is asking you to ask yourself what threatens you. If there's a physical threat, to seek support and take immediate steps to remove yourself from the situation. And if it's emotional, mental, spiritual dangers that you're wanting protection from, this is asking you to listen to your inner guidance and go within and define your inquiry with the intention of moving through beyond whatever is creating the uncertainty or insecurity. The answer lies within. So when I see this card, I feel like sinking from my head space into my heart space and just attuning to the heart space. And in that sense, there can be flow, because when we protect ourselves, when we think we're protecting ourselves, when we need protection, maybe we need maybe we're feeling the pain of others, maybe we're feeling hurt by others, and we feel like we need to protect ourselves from being hurt again. Then we can create boundaries and barriers that, we can talk about healthy boundaries too, but this is the sense of kind of enclosing, creating walls around your heart, and then, or around your being, and then it takes energy to maintain those walls, because there's pressure from out and from within, and it just takes energy to maintain these boundaries and maintain these sorts of protections. And so when we move into our heart space, those walls can dissolve, and we can circulate and process things faster. And it also, in the heart space, creates a vibrational frequency that actually changes the vibes of those around us. And that in itself is more of an emanating protection. But it's not even, it does, because it dissolves separation. It dissolves the notion that we are separate from our environment and from those around us. And so I think it can bring us into like a deeper coherence of ourselves within our surroundings. And so, yeah, this card is asking you, what is it that you're wanting protection from? If it's a real physical threat, then I encourage you to seek support for that. And yeah, to remove yourself from the situation, like the book said. And if it is mental, spiritual, emotional help, protection that you're seeking, this is advising you to go within and get clarity on what that is and why and how to respond to that need within yourself. If you want to continue to pull from this deck, I think we're going to get out a luminary. Maybe it's a sexual protection. Maybe you're wanting to protect yourself sexually. And yeah, I'm getting this sense of like physical sexual protection, but also spiritual, emotional, and mental sexual protection. And that relating to this message of the Pentagon, of going within and asking yourself what it is that you truly need, want, desire, and where is the intersection of all of those things? Where is the intersection of your needs, your wants, and desires? Oh, wow. This card is ecstasy. Take a moment to just take this card in. It's this feeling of like sweetness bursting from all your cells. And like it's amplified through like and manifested through your gratitude and coming back to like how it is that you want to feel within yourself and within your relationship with existence and all of your relations. And how does that feel? How do you want to feel? And focusing on that more so than how you want it to look. It's like a full body ecstasy, a full body sense. It's not just relying on like vision and sight and how things appear. It's like, it's a deeper, more like all encompassing, deeper and broader, stretching out through all your limbs and through all of your relations. Wow. I'm feeling this sense of like gathering gathering those who you're close with, gathering those that you can grow with and that you have been growing with, and in the sense that like you can work through conflict. And that sense of growing, like with sacred geometry, it's like here's a circle that represents your consciousness. Here's a circle that represents somebody else's consciousness. And when you relate with each other, when you engage with each other, when you have interactions, then both of your consciousnesses expand to that point. And yeah, I'm just looking at like before that expands, perhaps there's like these walls that can create conflict of separation. And I'm not saying that they're bad, it's just like needing to dive into what's in that. If this is what's birthing from your relationship or your relationships, like what is it that you're trying to protect? If you're afraid of conflict, is it trying to protect the relationship more than this like capacity to expand? Perhaps it's being worried about losing the relationship if you try to broach conflict and like share what it is that is in here. But it's also this sense of like a blockade, like it's getting in the way. So the relationship is being threatened anyways, or it's at risk anyways. So might as well dive into what is in it and what you're feeling and finding clarity with that. And with this feeling of ecstasy, I'm getting this sense of like letting go, surrendering to that feeling of like liberation. Yeah, if all of your cells were like little tiny hands like unclutching from that, like holding on to the relationship or holding on to your connection with that person, it's like the ecstasy is like releasing and letting go of that and surrendering to liberation. And in that, there's this like feeling of like a rushing kind of undercurrent. It's kind of cold, but it's also like refreshing. It's like a cold, brisk air. Like today is the first snow where I am and of the season, and so it's like these winds that are coming through, and they're it's this sense of being refreshed, being free, and about like not needing to contort or like change or manipulate yourself in order to continue to meet these expectations. Whether somebody else is putting the expectations on you or you're putting them on yourself. Okay, let's get another card. From the Liberation Tarot deck. Yeah, is there any more messages about weaving our fates? The Six of Flowers. Wow. We got this yesterday in our reading. The mundane. And chaos. Oh my gosh. We got that card yesterday too. Oh. We have Six of Vessels, Healer of Blades, Ace of Blades. Wow. Just taking this in. So the Six of Flowers, that was the first one to jump out. And I'm gonna pull another card, one of a tarot card, a Major Arcana tarot card. These are from a deck, An Alchemical Journey Through the Major Arcana of the Tarot. What's her name? Nina Brunjavec. Yeah, just in the cards that are here, the Six of Flowers, speaking to the magic and the mundane, like the ecstasy in the mundane, in that sense of liberation, not unclenching feeling. Chaos, I'm feeling that in terms of what is called the US. Just political chaos. Six of Vessels, there's these plants here that are growing, and it's almost like they're like these little green orbs look like olives to me. So I feel like it's like the plants are dreaming of the fruit that they're gonna bear, which is part of this like weaving of fate. What are you dreaming amidst this chaos? If this chaos is like an eruption of conflict, it's an opportunity to see what is there. What is in here? What is it that you've been trying to protect, that you thought that the outside world could answer for you? And like diving into that space, out of that eruption, what is the dream? And we have two blades here, the Healer of Blades and the Ace of Blades, and we have the World. We have the World in reverse. Taking in this card, I'm noticing the egg being wrapped around by a serpent. Almost like the serpent's world, the like cylinder kind of shape of the serpent is like flipping the world, seeing the world from the perspective of the serpent. What sort of insight would that give us? It's a different perspective. Yeah, and these blade cards. They're both set against a backdrop, sky and clouds. So there's still some clouds, There's clouds up here too, but they're pink. These clouds are like fantasy. These clouds are like things that seem real, that are clouding the blue sky, things that are going to be changing and flowing. And then I'm noticing this chain. Like in this one, it almost feels like a chain fence, a chain link fence or something. And there's like plants growing out of it, growing out of the fire. Or maybe they're growing towards the fire. There's like a fire here, and then a fence. I feel like this chain link fence is like your protection, your armor. But the blade is like inside of that. It's on the side where you are, your internal world. And so, and it's like blade is in the fire. And the fire are the cosmos. The fire of transformation, of like piercing through and seeing what's here, what's inside, what is it that you've been trying to protect. And the blades are so sharp, they're like cutting through. They're cutting through like the surface so that you can actually see what it is you've been trying to protect, what's been there all along, and being with that. And from that is where the life is going to be growing. And then we have Ace of Blades. And this blade is like turned upright. And the point is in the blue sky. It's also like emanating energy. So once you find what it is that you've been trying to protect as your truth, like this is like a sword of truth, like emanating, that's gonna be like your protection is gonna be your truth. It's gonna be that circulation of your heart space. And it's in the sky. You're not gonna be needing to cut other people with it. It's just gonna be there as like a clear and sharp, like knowing. And this knowing is just gonna emanate. I want to come back to the World card. Yeah, let's see what this book has to say about it alchemically. So this is the final stage in the alchemical journey. This could integrate full integration of shadow, awakening of our interbeing, our self that is our larger self that is oneness and permeating all. Some call it the Anima Mundi. Ramana Maharshi calls it the self. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it interbeing. the snake integrating our shadow. Like the snake just slithers along the horizon. It doesn't glorify above or below. It's right there slithering along the horizon. And so it's like, yeah, this sense of coming into like a deeper balance within ourselves and with the world. Like, what is at the horizon? That line separating above and below. What is that thread? I'm thinking of like the silver lining, and I'm thinking of that's like a thread. Like that's where we pull our thread from to weave the world. It says in a deficient mode, this card might point to ego inflation. So when we're rising too high above the horizon without considering our roots, then we don't have access to that thread. That, like, I'm just seeing like a horizon line, and like the thread is coming from that line. But we can only access it if we're in balance between the realms. And I'm also feeling a sense that like our heart space can be that horizon between like our head and our thought processes and like our gut, like our animate instincts, our animal instincts, the world around us, the way that we perceive that matter is taking shape around us. And then in between where the heart is, that's where the spool unravels. The thread from source being pulled through that, being pulled through our heart, being pulled through the horizon. And that's the material that we weave with. The material we weave with, but also the source that we weave with. Spiritually and physically and mentally, and yeah. Okay. Wow, what a beautiful reading around our weaving of the fates. So I want to thank you for tuning in with me, our filth weavers. As I say that, I'm feeling this like gutterance, like filth, the filth weavers, and this like, yeah, the reconnection to the underworld of our beings and our environments, and our spiritual practices as well. And as like to balance out the love and the light, we need that. The tricksters, the filth eaters, the composters, like that's what we need to be bringing into more communion. And so I think this reading was speaking to that, and it's also something that I'm embodying and seeking within my own practices. So I just want to thank you for joining me today, and wishing you balance as you access the threads through your hearts, through the horizons, finding a deeper sense of sovereignty through this balance. Integrating everything. It's actually already integrated if we just allow and come into the balance of that. So thank you, and please comment if you have any questions or requests for further readings, and any comments about how this might be relating to you, and yeah, anything that you just might want to share with me. I'm offering this from a space of abundance, of just what's flowing through me, and I hope that you can share from a space that's flowing through you, and perhaps that might be just sharing with yourself, like what do you need to fill and to feel abundant. I think letting go, part of this reading of letting go, I hope it can support you in your journeys and our weavings together, and feeling a full heart, and you can subscribe if you like this content and want to receive future Filth Weaver contents. And I look forward to seeing you next time.